full product review of the Zapp micro welder. Welcome back. Today I am going to perform a full product review of the new Zapp micro welder. Sunstone Engineering, the producers of the Orion mPulse 30 and PJ, the most popular and leading micro welders in the permanent jewelry industry, has introduced their latest model, the Zapp, to be a lot more affordable for the permanent jewelry marketplace. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble it, test it out to see what it can do, and then I'm going to compare its performance and value to other product offerings. And then I'm going to share with you my opinion as to whether or not this is worth it and who should and shouldn't be buying this model. I want to begin by letting you know that this is actually an advanced version of the Zapp, meaning that this is their first run batch, and the actual one that is going to be shipped out to the marketplace will be white, and the stylus is going to be silver. And as far as I know, that is the only difference. So I didn't want to wait. I want to try this out and share with you what I find. And if there are major changes, I'm going to film it and share that update with everyone. Okay, so this is priced at $999 US. And for that, what you get is, it comes in the Sunstone box that is heavily padded. You have the welder, the stylus, one alligator grounding clip, 3 electrodes, so 2 to spare, argon tube, so in case you want to use argon gas, it's argon gas ready. Stainless steel weld plate so that you can see the sizes for your initial testing, plugs for electric outlet, and tinted safety goggles, as well as user's manual. So my first impression is that, wow, it's very lightweight, as are all the other models, but this is rather lightweight, and it doesn't have a screen and only has a dial. So it's very simplistic, and I found out initially, first impression wise, it's a little bit disconcerting. However, to be honest, I felt the same way about the iPod and refused to buy it for a long time because it's just weird. There were no bells and whistles. So I don't know how it's going to be. I'd like to rig it up before I say anything further, because if it does the job that it's supposed to, it's all good. Note that this is, it's 3 watts. It's a nice dial, actually. 3 watts to, or 3 joules to 10 joules. So that is the power range. And we want to make sure that, and this is because it is created for the permanent jewelry industry, I want to make sure that this does what it needs to do and that it's effective and efficient. So these are the pieces. This is for the argon gas. I'm not going to demonstrate with it, but I'm going to leave a card for a video where I did set it up and I've done a product review. And I will not be doing this, but I've done it in another video. And for filming, I don't need to put these on. Okay, so this is what we've got. There is the power source. meant it's going to be plugged into the power source. So you have to connect these two. Okay. This I'll connect to outlet. Okay. So now the light is on and it's got power. It's very simple. And it's the only one that fits there. Okay. There you have it. Okay. So this is the ground. Goes in the front like this. So you're going to clip your jump ring on that. This is the stylus. Just remove the covering. Okay. And this, you will see, has a dot. Match the dot with that dot right here. Like this. And plug it in. Just click it in. And it's got a safety mechanism so that when you're trying to take it out, you have to push a little bit to get it out. You have to pull this part to release and it locks. So that way you don't accidentally knock it off. Which is great. There you go. And that's how easy it is. So this is a stylus. What you do is you just see it snaps in, take it out. This is the collet, and you open it a little bit, counterclockwise to open, and you take one of these tungsten electrodes, like this. Very simple. And you can measure like this. I like it protruding this line here, and just turn it clockwise and make sure it stays out, and then it tightens like this. There you go. You can select to go a little bit lower, but I'm just going to do this. I don't have more, so that I can have more clearance for filming. Okay, so now you are ready. The only thing is you will need pliers, which it doesn't come with, that you like. You can use this ground to hold your jump ring, or you can have grounding pliers that Sunstone makes. And I think there are other makers for this. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to weld using this clip. Put these on and away you go. That took less than 5 minutes and you can get started. Okay, we're going to get started. I brought a bunch of jump rings, thickest being 16 gauge, 18, 22, 24, and 26. Just to let you know, with mine, all of these were welded with 24 and 22. The thick ones for this, I've used 20 and also 18. So we'll have a range and see how it goes. I'm going to start with 26 gauge, which is very fine. And you need 2 pairs of pliers to make sure, and I say this over and over again, make sure that the ends meet properly, like this. Okay, then what we're going to do is hold on to the ground, and I'm going to use 4. I've done welding at 3 28 gauge, so I know this is going to work. Okay, zoomed. Okay, so I think that did it. Now, there is that like soot here. That is from oxidation. That's what argon gas would minimize. Okay, so I'm going to see, I twisted it so much and it did not break. That gives you an idea. So 26 gauge, check, very easy. This is 24 gauge. That is predominantly what I've welded all of these thin pieces with, okay? Okay. Oops. I think that worked too. Yep. So I'm going to see if you can see that. I've twisted it and it's still welded. Let's see. Okay, this is 22 gauge. And 22 gauge is thick enough for me to actually use on very chunky chain. So I'm going to zoom in right now. I'm just going to dial up a little bit. I don't have to because so far it's been working very well. So, oops. Okay. Go. Always check. So how you check is you go where the seam on either side, I'm going to twist, and it's good. It's completely welded. And I've twisted it that much. I'll hear the okay, this is 18 gauge. So it's really thick already. You don't need it that thick. Or maybe you can even have wire and do bangles like that. But let me see. Always make sure that it's in. Both sides are touching. And sometimes there's a slight gap and you have to try to eliminate that gap. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn it to 7. I'm going to show you. Just turn it to 7, 6.5. Okay. Now, this is very thick jump ring, so I wouldn't be surprised if it cracks open and I could weld on the other side. But I'm going to try it. Whoa. Okay. You see that? That's a thick jump ring. At 7.5, I'm able to do that. Okay. Okay, so got zoomed in, 16 gauge. Now, I've never welded anything that thick for permanent jewelry, but for the sake of science, here we go. Okay, now, gotta say that I don't expect it to stay because it's very thick. That's very thick. So I might break that open and then I'm going to re-weld on the other sides. Let's see. Okay, so it did crack open at 16 gauge. And I'm going to try welding it on and give it multiple welds to see if I can make it stay. And I'm going to also put it to the maximum. Here we go. And I'm going to do another one on the side. Okay, now there's a lot of oxidation. I'm going to clean it. Okay, there's quite a bit of oxidation from the number of welds that I've done. I'm just going to clean it off a little bit so that moment of truth. See. It cracked open even with maximum power and 4 welds. Mind you, I used a huge amount of force, and this is very thick jump ring. Okay, so we've demonstrated that the Zapp very efficiently and effectively is able to weld small jump rings for all your permanent jewelry chain needs. So now let us compare it to the 2 leading micro welders in the permanent jewelry market. This one, and both of these happen to be produced by Sunstone and also made in the US. This one is the mPulse 30 at $2,400 USD, and this is the PJ at $2,800. So both of these come standard with the auto dimming lens that is lit, and it also can act as a stand for welding. So you just bring it close and you weld. And then also these 2 have interfaces and locks. So you can go to the power setting that you want, press lock, and no matter what thereafter, it's locked. Both of those have that, and this is a rotary dial. This is the power setting for this is 3 joules to 30 with increments of 1 watt, 1 joule. The Zapp is from 3 to 10, and the PJ is from 1 to 15 with half joule increments for a bit more precision, and you can do very fine, dainty things. What the PJ has that this does not have is that you can change the color of the interface, right? Depending on the corporate color, what you want, what's your favorite. There you have that. What I also like about the Zapp and the PJ is that this stylus could be taken and apart, whereas the mPulse 30 you cannot. But what I do is I just coil it, and then when I'm traveling, I just put it in my case. Aside from that, those are the main differences. So talking about value and what one should do. If you are welding permanent jewelry or your business is in chains, custom sizes, and it's going to be fine jump rings for, say for instance, permanent jewelry, day in and day out, and that's what you're doing, this does a great job at a low cost. Now, if it was the case that you wanted to weld bangles, well, this will not be powerful enough. And if the bangle is, for example, 16 gauge or 1.2 millimeters, I think, then you would have to upgrade to either one of these. And if you want to do studs or very heavy bangles, then you would have to use the mPulse. And I'm going to leave a card up here that has a link as to the welding capacity, and I do testing of the two so that you can see. So, but what I like about this is that if that is your business of permanent jewelry, then have this. It allows you to get a foothold and start generating revenue right away. Then later on, you could, if you want to increase your product offerings, you can certainly do that then. So I think this is a very good entry-level way into the business. And as far as the auto-dimming lenses are concerned, and I'm sure people are going to ask, I would say they're great to have. There's a stand, but I've also created and filmed a hack where you could have the protection of this and also magnify at the same time. So I'm going to put a card up there, and it wouldn't cost you more money, not very much more, and use what you've got, the resources you have. So I would say that depending on the specific type of business you're looking to do, this could be a very good bet. Or if you want some more bells and whistles, the other models. As far as the value of the Zapp versus no-name brands, in other words, is this worth more? I think it is about $600 more than the leading no-name brand. Is it worth the extra premium that you're paying? And I feel that if you are using this for permanent jewelry or in a store setting, absolutely, it is worth the premium. And here is why. Sunstone has a great reputation, and they have spent a great deal of time, effort, and money to promote their welders in the permanent jewelry business. And that has penetrated down to the consumers. So they recognize that Sunstone, their welders are made in the US, they're high quality, they have the best safety track record. It's synonymous for higher quality, and that will affect your business, I feel. Now, why is it that it is a slightly better product, or does it matter? Yes, I'm going to tell you that as a business person, I think it's about $600, like I was saying, about $600 more, but think on how many bracelets or pieces you're going to be welding in front of customers. Or it might end up costing maybe $1 per weld more, or even less if you're going to continue in the business. But the fact is, that's advertisement for you, that you care, and that it's signaling to the customer that you are providing a premium service. So that is not where you want to cheap out. And I think it is very important to remember that some things you can cut cost on, but the brand perceived value, this is actually a very small amount to be paying. So that is from the business strategy side of things. Aside from that, Sunstone, they are very good with after sale care, just as we are, but they're very good, and their warranty is excellent. Something that you're not going to get with the no-name brands. Now, someone asked, is it safer? In fact, okay, so the no-name brands, they work, most of them, but they weren't designed for permanent jewelry. And what that means is, with permanent jewelry, because it's dainty and it's close to the skin, you want something that has low energy release, as opposed to, you know, that's one. And so Sunstone makes all sorts of welders, laser welders, etc. And they've got 15 years in making micro welders. So they know what they're doing. And these welders are designed for low energy release, as well with the other ones, which are primarily designed for other uses. Like there's one that is ginormous. A lot of them are for dental industry, where you're welding heavier things. But what with the other ones is that the voltage is set in this. Let me explain. If you'll see in the forums, you'll find people talking about like there's a flare up, and why does it spark like that? You'll find with those other ones that instead of it being triggered with Orion welders, where it like you touch it and it waits and then gets you ready, and okay. The other ones, sometimes you'll see that if you get close, there is already voltage, like a flash from that piece to here, even before you even get close, as it is approaching. And I've had people ask, is that normal? So no, it isn't. It's unsafe. But some, now not all welders do that. And sometimes the customers are able to ground it properly. The other thing is that you'll see people with the other welders, they use electrical tape to protect, and so you don't feel much of the buzz or the tingle. Anyway, so safety wise, I feel that it is safer, and just from what you hear in the forums, some of the other accidents, I feel that it is not only safer, it communicates to your customers. That is worth a lot of money that people often underestimate when they're entering the business. Lastly, who should be buying the Zapp? So I would say, if you're a novice going into the permanent jewelry business and you have budget concerns, this will allow you to get into the business and start earning revenue right away. So that's great. If you're entering the business but you have bigger budget, or you want to be doing a lot more, then you can afford the bells and whistles, those other models are best for you. And the second group of customers is, you already have an established permanent jewelry business. It's been getting busier. Either this could be a backup for events because it's lightweight and easy to travel, or if you're expanding and you have different stations, to minimize the lineup, if it's all just permanent bracelet, this will do that job day in, day out, all the time. And if they want something fancier, like bangles, and they want to make their own studs on the spot or whatnot, those thicker things, then they could wait for the other one. So it is a very good support accessory, support machine as a backup. And Also, if you are, even if you're not going to offer permanent jewelry, but you're selling jewelry in your store, this is great for customizing different lengths. And I'm going to actually leave a card up there where I talk about jewelry retailers or boutiques, clothing stores, or gift stores that sell jewelry, their strategy for that. But this will allow you to customize for your right there on the spot, different lengths. It will and also say, for instance, the bench jeweler, where before you want to hold something in place before you solder and weld, or if you're doing jewelry production where you are needing to weld or solder jump rings all the time, this is a way better method than flame and solder. So we have novice, person who wants to increase their business and have a backup welder. You have the retailer, the jewelry retailer, boutique store that can offer immediate sizing and customized service. And also the bench jeweler who wants to have a tool that would make production a lot simpler. So I hope that you found this to be useful. I am a wholesaler of premium quality chains and findings, and I'm going to leave more information below. I would love for you to share your feedback on this, as well as your thoughts on this. And the other thing is, as always, if you are looking for someone who can do pop-up, or you are a jewelry artist looking for someone who has a store, put all that info below. Let's get everyone connected with one another and share our thoughts. I really appreciate your support.